Alright, hopefully you guys can see me. Okay. I'm doing this kind of weird. This is going to be kind of the second part of the video. I started to build this before, not live streaming, because there's new things that I hadn't gotten figured out yet. And so now I just figured out how to get it to actually live stream. So now I'll be live streaming. You can watch me be building this. So what I've done so far, I've gotten some of the stuff organized. Section A, or parts bag A, parts bag B, C, and D. I've already built all this. Got the shafts assembled, linkage connectors there, the mounts on the servo, the foam in here. I think it's to help seal the servo into the chassis. Here's the chassis. Actually, in the video that I did before, it was actually kind of an unboxing and going through everything. So I will be doing that probably tonight. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If not, comment in there, because I do actually have it going on my computer, so I can see your guys' comments and all that. So I just got back from a break and was messing around, looking around, and found it. So here is two parts of the chassis, and you can see this chassis was meant for running a hump pack in there. So don't have to worry about that. We're going to be running lipos in this puppy. So anyways, now we are going to be sticking those through like that. Here for this, gotta go back. And then, come on, where are they at? There they are. I'll double check, make sure everything's lining up right. So I guess before I get too far into that, I should probably double check to find out what screws it wants. 15 millimeters, so they're long ones. Any of these are 15. Oh, that one's 10. That one might be. Yeah, that one's 15. There are two of them. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So if you are watching, go ahead and say something in there so I know that you're there and give you a shout out. Okay. And washer. Go through there. Another washer there. kind of weird watching myself on the screen while I'm doing this. I'm doing it that way to make sure that it's actually streaming correctly. Now, with that foam piece in there, it makes it a tight fit. Going in. It's going this side. That is going in. Okay, cool. Okay. These I'm going ahead and tightening down because one of the screw holes, it only had single hole. The other one has a groove for adjustability. And so this one I tightened down, and then I made sure that one was tight. So now they should be good. You can see in there that foam is going to be in there. It's going to help to kind of seal it off from dust and debris and stuff getting into there. So that will be a good thing. Not that this will be seeing a whole lot of that. Okay, it's saying to mount the speed control in there now, but I'm going to try not to do that yet. Just because I want to try to get everything in there and assembled, and then I can put that in last. So, move on. This is where it's going to get kind of tricky. Now it has me working on this piece. So I'm going to take, actually, you, and you, possibly you. Oh, so you're going to have 3 body clips. That's unusual. Okay. So, body clip going into there. Oh, almost perfectly lined going that way on it. So that will work. Okay. And it has this. I don't know that it's going to work with the switch that I have. So again, I think I might have to leave that until later. Okay. Back. Okay. It's kind of surprising what you end up figuring out as you're going along doing things. So there is D2, which this is D, yes. And part 2. See, now you're starting to see how handy these are. Because in the manual, a lot of times, yeah, it'll have the life size so you can compare the screws to that. But there's also this way. That was 10. Smaller. No nuts or anything. Actually, a little bit bigger screwdriver, so it has a little bit better handhold. Good. Okay. So 12s. Okay, so 6 screws are going to be used to attach this down. Oh no, they're back here onto this portion. But I still got to get the speed controls and that in here, so I can't attach that onto there yet. So this is another one of you. Goes on there. See how this one lines up. A little off to the side, but that's okay. Okay, this is weird, but we'll see. The directions will hopefully straighten me out. Because it's saying these ones that are like body posts, that there's 3 and they're not evenly spaced, which is the weird part. There's one down here, one up here, and then one through here. So there's nothing on this side yet. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I've honestly never put together one of these, so that's why it's kind of a surprise to me. So, all right. I'm actually going to switch. That would be why. Yes, I'm discovering this just as you are. So there is actually a valid reason for it to be the one side. It's not actually a body post. Okay, we are going to take and put all this back into so that's one of the kind of the neat things about building stuff, because it's like you don't know exactly how something's going to go, and then it's all of a sudden you're reading on how to assemble, and all of a sudden, boom, it clicks. And then it's a, oh my gosh. Sorry, my OCD is kicking in, so I have to do a little bit of house cleaning. All right. So now we need B5 and 5. And B2 and 3. Clean up all the chaff, or I don't know what people call it, but all the excess that's not needed. Okay, so there and there. That's gonna go bloop and bloop. And then I need just a need of that one. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and dump you there for now. I'm getting fancy. So that I know that is bag A. And then bag B parts. Once I open up bag C, then I'll do the same thing with that one. Okay, so we need 12 millimeter. Several of them. I assume those are it. Just to double check. Yep. Yep. Okay. So E5. Bloop. Bloop. I did not know that about this RC car. Like that. So those go like that and like that. And back here onto main chassis. This side, it kind of goes underneath, fill in that little notch. It's right there, kind of hard to see, but then it's actually going to go over that pin. So to make it easier to get the battery out, if you're using like a LiPo style battery that doesn't have the hump in it, then you can just undo this pin, lift that up a bit, and then this will actually swing out of the way. And then you can just get to the battery sliding it in and out. So I think that's pretty clever, because then there's actually another door that would go on the bottom that you can open up for getting the hump pack style batteries in and out. So that is pretty neat. I did not realize that they'd have that much engineering into it. On the inside, it just goes over that one, and another 8mm. This one's too short. No, it's not. No washer. All right, well, and keep that there. I will put body clip in it. Just like that. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you will see I have a thing that I do with the body clips. I put some pipe cleaner through them and tie it together so they have kind of a pull tag on them. So there's a little bit of kind of a extra bit of pull off of the body clip. Here's another one. This one is for my Emax, so they're a little bit bigger, a little bit easier. This all red one is for my TRX4 Bronco. And so it has the extra body washer on there to keep the body from getting messed up. Okay. That is, to me, that's impressive. With this being an 80s model, and they actually had the knowledge and know-how to incorporate something that slick into it. Okay, so in the manual here, maybe tuck down inside there. This will go on underneath those, so I have to undo that. So what it is saying is if the on-off switch doesn't reach to back here, then it can come out of the little hole right here, which is where the wires will come out to plug in the battery in that, but then to mount the switch back here. I don't know that it's going to reach that far. So it might be having to come out, and it might actually be like right down here, right in front. So anyways, take you off. Take you off, and this would actually go down over the top, and then it's actually in part screwed together from that right there and that right there. So dang, I might need to go and mount in the speed control. I prefer putting in the electronics closer to the end, but might not have a choice. Where is the antenna wire? I don't see an antenna wire hole anywhere. Am I really that blind? Hang on. I keep looking ahead. Yeah, I gotta cheat a little bit. As I'm looking ahead to find out where the antenna wire comes through, to know where to mount the speed control and the ESC. Okay, so antenna wire looks like it's going to be going into view. Not that it really needs to have the antenna wire sticking out, but just in case. So I'm thinking you right there. This is some of the detail work I think is kind of fun. There. You come out. There. You just get mounted straight down. Mounted just like that. Okay, so since I have limited amount of space in here to work with, I'm kind of figuring out how I'm going to mount each thing in here and it work out. So I think I'm going to do the speed control in there, kind of off to the side. And then because the wires on this are shorter, do this more to that side so that these wires can stick out more and the plug can get through there. There's space under there, so that should work. All right. So now, when I say prep, proper prep makes it last longer. Clean off the bottom of that. Clean off the tray in here. Clean off that. The 91% alcohol, or the higher content, like what I got, it will evaporate a little bit faster, so it's a little bit nicer. So, oh, perfect size. If you do any trimming like this, make sure you don't cut off your antenna. Because I'm trying to trim off any excess double-sided tape so that when any kind of dust or anything gets in there, it's going to be less likely to stick to it. Is why. So get it stuck in there. And I think this could actually also be the smallest RC that I have. Because all the others that I have, there's a T-Max, an E-Max, a Revo. I think the other smallest one that I have is probably the Rock Crawler. That thing has four-wheel steering in it, and all that, so and I am probably going slower than what some people are, but I've always kind of gone by the phrase, I do more quality over quantity. So I do more good job instead of good output, I guess you can say. So I might be a little bit slower at doing things, but chances are it's going to be built better, work longer, and work better than what one that was assembled quickly was. Okay, so go through. That's what's hanging. Go through. Alright, so speed control channel 2, steering channel 1, and this Traxxas receiver, part number 6519. It actually has 2 channels in it for the steering. So it could have been used like in a Max or a Revo that has dual steering servos. But I am not using it for that, so I'm not worried about it. Okay. So I gotta go back in the manual. Okay, so I got those. Let's see where I think I'm going to have a slight dilemma. Is it says that for on this, that this on-off switch goes up there. Oh, maybe I can do that. That might actually work kind of neat. An idea for down the road for this. So that would be the regular on-off switch for it, but mine obviously does not reach that far, so that will not work. Mine's gonna have to be on the outside of it, just barely on the outside of it. Okay. So, 2, I think these wires are a bit thicker than what they were back then. Needless to say, there's been some improvements. Okay, and you were the 12, I'm pretty sure it's. Okay. So double and triple check to make sure you don't have any wires being pinched before putting any screws in. I unfortunately have done that a couple of times where I forgot to double check the screws and pinched wire, and it made it so I couldn't run for a while. What was even worse is that it was the antenna wire. Actually, I think I did that on my old original T-Max. Actually, I believe, if I remember right, was the one that I did that on. That side. Now, I know I'm thinking the same thing, but it's not saying to put the screw into the front yet. It's only these 3 places on each side. So that's what I'm doing. It's actually kind of fun. This is the first RC that I've actually built like this from the ground up. All my others, I have had them torn apart down to bare bones parts. I've rebuilt the differentials, I've rebuilt the transmissions. I mean, I've had them torn down to get worked on and stuff. But I've never actually built one from the ground up to begin with. They've all been, I hate to say, ready to runs. So this is breaking me into that new world. It's a whole new world. No, I can't sing for squat. That's why I just stick with it in my head. All right, so that is together. So to start, the on-off button. We'll go right there. Maybe down. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, I'll probably do it down just because turn on, that would make it forward so that if it does hit anything, it would keep it turned on. So, all right. So, got that. So now that that's put on, now we can put that on with that, and we can screw this one on. Boy, so if you ever have anything electronic go out on this, I can tell you're going to have a tricky time getting in there to replace any of that. Okay. And so now I do a couple more 12s. I think these are 12s. And it's saying part A4. So back to looking at parts trees. B. This one's D. Okay, so that was C. here, so I'm going to assume it's going to stick with C. So in the other video that I had done, since this bag looks kind of different, when I had first got this, there was a part in here, this one right here, that was deformed. And if you look at it, you can tell that it's deformed from manufacturing. It's not formed all the way. And so I got a hold of Tamiya USA, and they wound up sending me out a whole new replacement one. So that was awesome of them to do that. I did try getting a hold of the seller, but they're just a seller. So they weren't really able to help. As an apology, though, they did give me kind of a refund back on some of it. So that was nice. In my book, that's still part of a 5-star rating for me. They did kind of direct me onto which way to go. Getting a hold of, because I'm here in America, getting a hold of Tamiya USA to get it corrected. And now you can really see the difference in how deformed that piece was. It doesn't even have the top whole edge on there. So I'm not even going to use that one. That one will be spare parts. The spare parts are usually always good. Okay, this was part F. Alright. So clean these up. These little tiny posts, I don't know what they are for. If you're watching this and you've worked on a Tamiya Fox, let me know what these little tiny post things are for. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably find out, but they go bloop and bloop. Actually, I'm curious. Doesn't say what those are specifically for. So, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to be curious if those will interfere with the battery. Looks like those will be actually good to actually help to keep the battery from moving. Just to kind of help compensate with different size batteries would be a good way to go. So comment down below and tell me what brand of tools you prefer. Me personally, I'm a Craftsman guy. Um, I've always loved their colors, black and red, just because I'm kind of a nerd, and so those are my favorite colors. And so in turn, that's part of the reason I like them. Um, a lot of people, a lot of you guys will probably say, "Oh, Snap-on's the best." To me, they're good, but for the same tool from Craftsman or even other companies, you can get it for like half the price than as what you can a Snap-on. Don't get me wrong, Snap-on tools are extremely good, but one, they're out of my price range. But two, I like to be able to go into a store locally and get a replacement if by chance one breaks. And so that was kind of a good sized deciding factor in me liking Craftsman, because I can do that to a local Sears store or Ace Hardware. I know is carrying Craftsman stuff. I don't know if they are doing the replacements though, so take that at your own uh, discussion. Oh, clever. So B86 C. Alright, so these kind of weird pieces are the front arm mounts, where the suspension arms mount to from the front. Whoop, too much there. I think that's where the file can come in handy. Little boo-boo, file it down a bit. I do have a Dremel too, but I don't want to risk over doing it. Because when you get power into stuff, you can go overboard really fast if you're not careful. Okay. So I don't know if I finished mentioning, but yeah, that 4 minute. This is the bag they wound up sending the whole replacement one in. So that's what was going on with that. All right. So you guys are gonna go. You're gonna go that side. You're gonna go that side. Okay, and D6. Trying to have these kind of laid out in a semi-organized fashion. So it has this little guy right here, which I'm actually kind of, again, impressed and glad to see, albeit it is only plastic, but hey, can't complain. Washer and eight. That's 8. So this little thing, it's actually going to go in and hook onto the end of the servo horn and act as an additional support for it, which I am very glad, very happy to see that. The issue is how do you get it in there with the... Back to my thinner. I'm making sure that that's on, but it's backed off a hair so it's not putting a lot of pressure onto that servo horn so it doesn't cause extra friction in there. That way. All right. So now more 12s. Okay. So on the bottom. There's a hole in here. And I want to say there could be enough room in here that there could be a drive shaft going through, but I don't know. There's nowhere else for the drive shaft to come through on the chassis. Because I had mentioned in the other video that there is a four-wheel drive variant, I believe, of this. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's like the Hot Shot or something like that. But I do know there is one. I don't know what it's called. But this is the one that my dad had, the two-wheel drive version, so that's what I got. And I am loving it. Being the first one that I've built, first two-wheel drive, first buggy. I do plan on getting another buggy eventually. Probably going to be a, I hate to say it, Traxxas Bandit, only because it has so much aftermarket support for it. Because I want to take it and I want to make it a replica or a real-life replica of RC from Toy Story. And he was green and blue and all that, and so I want to do that with one of those. And so the one that I found that has the most aftermarket support to be able to buy different colored parts is the Traxxas Bandit. If you know of another one that has a lot of aftermarket support, has a variety in parts colors, then post it in the comments below and I can check that out, see if it's going to have what I'm wanting color wise and stuff, and then I can go from there. Hey, I see somebody else has joined in. How you doing? Just me building and rambling on, so hopefully you get a kick or a laugh out of it. All right, so got all that in. was a text message from my phone saying that my mom was watching me. Well, that's good, because now she can see that I am actually assembling and putting it together. So, okay, so those are all good. Woohoo! Good timing on joining me, Mom. Because that part that was messed up, I'd showed her so she knows what I'm talking about. That part that was messed up, I'm actually just getting ready to install it. So this is the one that I'm needing. And it goes on down underneath. Somewhere down there like that. That you can see now really good side by side how badly deformed that one was. So, okay, so assume those two are going to go there. Is 3x15, which are a fine thread. Your shorties. So review. There. Oh, I need that piece. What is that piece? Okay. Oh, B7. Okay. I couldn't find the part number. It was just kind of pointing off into La La Land. B7, that one. Thanks, Mom. Come on, usually when I build things, I can do pretty good. But I take my time, though, so that I don't screw up. My mom, she's always been into racing in cars and that, too. My mom and dad first got together. They would go and hang out, go to races and all that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mom, but I guess there was one time when they had kind of gone out on a date, and it was in my dad's 68 CJ5 Jeep, which we'll be seeing that on the channel here soon. And it was having some technical difficulties. And so my dad, I guess, was getting down and starting to work on it. And my mom offered to help. My dad was, no, you're a lady. You shouldn't be getting all dirty and greasy. And my mom's like, where do you need the help? And so it was kind of sealed the deal and good to go. Oh, now my wife comes on. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I love you, hon. I waited to do this until you were gone so I could spend all my time with you while you were here. I love you. Okay, so those go up there. So now, yeah, I didn't realize there was a little cross brace in there until reading the instructions. That's why you got to read them. So now, this goes on there. These little guys go in there. Seems like this might have been built before they used the countersunk screws, where they have kind of a triangular shaped head if you look at them from the side. Seems like this might have been before that time. Thanks, hon. Love you too. Oh, I have okay. The story, excuse me, the story with my mom and dad, it's mostly correct. So at least I don't have it completely out of left field. That's always a worry. Okay, 3x15. Those are fine thread. So we'll see if that would be you guys. Yep. There. So, only, yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, hon. Hey, at least it's giving you guys something to watch. You guys can still technically communicate with me. Long screws and fine thread. I want to make sure you don't tighten them down too much. It's the one time when I can. Believe me, there's quite a few screws in this. Well, I think it's actually better than what some of the other RCs are. Okay, so now you can see more. If I take out this pin, when the battery goes in, I'll be able to lift this up, and this will just twist out of the way. And then once it's assembled, the battery can just be slid in like that. Hypo battery is barely going to fit in here. Very barely. It'll be very wide. And then potty clip back on, and there we go. Because there'll be a cover down on the bottom. So. There. Okay, so got the two screws there. Now, those two. Yeah, unfortunately. My mom's saying, you can't get away from us. We always got eyes on you. Yeah. Yes, that one. That one. Yep. Oop and bloop. I am. I'm looking right at it. Remember, I have two screens. So I have the YouTube video going over on one side where I'm seeing you guys. Oh, you fuddy-duddy. Then on the other one, I have the instruction manual. I did mention that earlier. That's how I'm doing it. Okay, so that goes through. So that's all good. Oh, wow. So now it's going to start getting into the actual suspension components. So I'm thinking I'm going to see about taking a break again, just because, like I've mentioned, I wanted to make sure that I do this right. And so I don't want to get too excited and rushed and eager and all that and screw something up. But getting some in there, got the speed control and receiver inside, along with the servos inside here. The servo sticking out there. Got the front assembly done. Got this all set up. The link's done. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take a break for now. Maybe get some lunch since it's about the time right now. And my tools just came apart. That's a new one. Okay, that's weird. I don't know. So, but I'll be working on this more later today. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now, and I will be back here shortly. So we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks. Bye.